Hello, it's Maggie, the Cheshire Crafter here. It's a Thursday evening in September, and I just started back at my choir classes on a Thursday night. We meet for 7:30 till 9 o'clock in the local community centre, and it's just round the corner for me. It's far enough to walk. I'm a bit breathless coming back, but it's the first time I've been for, well, probably since the end of the summer. And once we start with breathing exercises and start learning how to hold the notes, it does get easier in a couple of weeks' time. But I'm a bit breathless tonight. But I just want to talk. We've had quite a sad week here in the UK, and there hasn't been much music been heard. And I just want to talk about the joy that singing and music brings to me, and especially singing in choir. Now, when I was young, I was able to harmonise with one of my brothers. He was the one that bought LPs and singles, and in fact he ran a disco with his friend and used to go along to that. So he was the one that had all the music. My mum, excuse me, my mum, although she loves classical music, she's a real Beethoven fan. She was a real Beethoven fan, I should say. And her sister likes Chopin. I do like certain classical musics, but my mum would put Radio Caroline on and enter all the competitions they used to have at Radio Caroline as well. We'd have to eat bars of Galaxy chocolate or something similar so that she could have the chocolate wrappers so that she could enter the competitions. Well, I never said no to eating some chocolate to help her along. And then at school, in the junior school, I do remember singing and leading the choir and singing solo and leading the little band that we had. We played the triangle and the recorder and xylophone when I was in junior school. And then I went to senior school. My mum wanted me to learn the piano, and I really didn't enjoy piano lessons. And then she bought me a violin, and I disliked that even more. I really hated the screeching sound of a violin next to my ear. Now, with hindsight, if she'd bought me a viola, I might have preferred the sound of that, because when I sing, I'm an alto. I can reach some high notes that sopranos can get, but mostly I'm comfortable singing an alto. As you can hear, I've probably got quite a low speaking voice, so my comfort level is singing alto. And when I was 11, I joined the junior choir at the school I went to. We had an excellent music teacher. She was a very stickler for rules, and she was a very good music teacher, but she linked up the orchestra, and we borrowed some of, I've spoken about it before, I think, we borrowed some of the boys from the local grammar school, and in fact one of the girls' dads played the double bass, so he came along to join the female orchestra that we had and the girls' choir, and I sang in the girls' choir along with some of my friends that I'm still in contact with now, and they sang middle second sopranos, and I sang alto with a deeper voice, and I loved it, absolutely loved it. Now, when I went through my mum's possessions, I found the copy that she still had of the recording. When I was in the junior choir, we appeared on Songs of Praise, which is still on the television now. It's on BBC, and it's a performance that comes from a church. And for those that aren't able to get to a church to pray, it's usually from a Church of England service. This was from a Church of England church in Northwich, and I was on the Songs of Praise introduced by Geoffrey Wheeler when I was in the junior choir. So I might have been 11 or 12 at the time. And then in the school, we performed, I say, with the orchestra numerous times, at least once a year performance for parents to come along to. And we also entered competitions. I live in Chester now, and when we were young, we came from Mid-Cheshire, Northwich, to the town hall in Chester to compete singing on the stage in the main hall. Now, with the Queen dying this week, I have the memory of the Queen came along with the one who don't like to mention, her new granddaughter-in-law, Meghan. If you haven't seen me talking about that, go back and watch one of those videos. But when the Queen came to Chester to open the Story House, which is our new theatre complex, library and cinema, she came to the town hall and had lunch in the town hall, and we performed in that same room. Not for the Queen. We were performing and we were competing. We'd get on a coach and we'd sing all the way home. And I really enjoyed singing at school. When we sang in assembly, I sang with the hymn book and I sang with the choir every morning with that. As a consequence with that, I tried to carry on through, and there were times through my nursing years, especially at Christmas, I'd link up with a hospital choir, and one of my favourite memories at Christmas would be, remember the nursing capes that were almost red felt on the inside? Well, what we did, we'd turned the capes inside out, so we had the red showing, and we'd go around the wards. We didn't go around with candles, that wasn't very health and safety, but we'd go around the wards singing, and obviously the sound carried. It was absolutely beautiful. And in particular, when you went to the children's ward just before Christmas, that was really lovely. Everybody really appreciated that. A friend of mine did hospital radio for bang on 30 years. I think he deserved an MBE for that. In fact, I might still nominate him. I think that would delight him. But so singing has always given me pleasure. When there've been fundraisers in the streets, I've joined in with the singing, and I do remember singing door to door with friends. One friend would play the trumpet, voluntary, that's an old joke, and we'd sing along and try and raise funds. So raising funds for charity is a good thing. In the UK, the hospital choirs did meet up. Certainly in the northwest they did, and all the hospitals combined together at Liverpool Cathedral, the Anglican Cathedral, that's the Church of England Cathedral. And you can imagine the sound in a cathedral with massed choirs singing, absolutely stunningly beautiful. Going back to school days, when we sang on our Founders' Day services, and we sang in the choir stalls, the sound echoes and it's really poignant. Well, likewise, it was in the cathedral, and those services were attended, and we had sermons read at that point by Ken Dodd, our beloved Ken Dodd, that lovely Liverpool comedian who was knighted by the Queen before he died, perhaps a decade ago now. But I can picture him standing up giving a sermon at that place. Now, for many years I didn't sing, and when I returned to Chester, and when I moved in here a few years ago, I found that there was a local choir had set up in the community centre, and I'd found it because they had performed down by the Rudey, which is the Chester River, the River Dee. If you go back and look at my videos where I've taken you down to the riverside, you'll see that there's a bandstand, and on a Sunday afternoon at 3 o'clock there's a free concert. And there had been performances by choirs there. Now, there was one choir, local choir, that had seen, I won't say who they are, but they'd appeared on, I think they'd appeared on Britain's Got Talent, and they're ones that wear black but wear a coloured scarf and hold handbags and make silly movements. Well, I didn't want a choir like that. But I heard the choir who'd performed at the bandstand in Chester, and I thought, oh, yes, please, I'd like a bit of that. And I find that they gather locally. So I pay every month to go along and sing with them, and it really lifts my spirits. Now, I do play music while I'm working here. I've got music and LPs that I bought in the 70s. I've still got there. They're going to keep me warm if I'm if I become a pensioner and I can't afford to put my heating on. I'll be selling some music, I think, or DVDs, something like that. But I do love music. I love listening on the television. I love the old stuff. At the weekend, I had the privilege of going to a friend's 60th birthday party, and she had, that was in the afternoon, really, afternoon and tea time, and she had a disco, and the guy was playing music from the 70s, and we absolutely loved it. They were all up dancing, and I was hand jiving. I can't do dancing. My balance is just terrible, and I fall over. So I'm not safe dancing. So, but I certainly sit and enjoy and appreciate the music. And as I went to choir tonight, I've just been invited to, one of the girls that go along to choir, she's coming up to 60, and she's just invited me to her 60th birthday party in a couple of weeks' time on a Saturday night, and I don't do anything other than watch the telly, so yes, I'll be delighted to go. Now, she said at that event, the girl that runs, I say girl, she's not a girl, she'll be in her 40s, but her and a friend of hers sing as a duo. They harmonise, they both play guitars, and they sing as a duo, and they perform locally. So she said our choir mistress and her partner will be singing and performing at this event. And so that'll be good, because I think a few people from the choir will go. I don't normally socialise. I come home, and like I have tonight, my priority is get myself back safely and having something to eat and drink. So it'll be really nice to socialise on a Saturday night. I look forward to that. And then they've said that the week before Christmas, the Saturday before Christmas this year, we've been invited to perform as a choir at it's a gastro pub, but a local restaurant pub. And would we perform? We perform for free. We'll raise funds for the local adult hospice, which I'm happy with. And we'll have a bit of a nibble and a drink when we're all together there the week before Christmas. And the funny thing was, the choir mistress said, does anybody know that they've got anything on that date already? Well, we all looked like real saddos, because not one of us put our hands up. We all went, no, I know it's the Saturday before Christmas, but no, we weren't doing anything special. So let's go out and have a sing-song. This week has been really poignant. It's a week ago since the announcement that the Queen died. So the music has been quite sombre this week. We've heard a lot of marching band music, particularly yesterday when they were escorting the cortege. It's not a funeral, but they were playing funeral music and funeral marches that are recognised. And it's all been very, very sombre. And tonight wasn't. We sung a lovely Congolese song in the round in harmony. That sounds great. And then we're just learning the choir version of Imagine by John Lennon. And the choir version, because you're singing it in harmony, you have to forget what you already know of the song, because we're not singing it quite the same. The tempo, the beat is slightly altered. The harmonising is different, and then we're singing in 3 parts. So it's quite a challenge to do that, to sing something that you know so familiarly. We have sung it before as a choir, and we have performed at a choir. A few years ago, we did a performance where we did a fundraiser to raise funds for the community centre where we meet tonight. That was excellent. And we also performed at the Story House, which I said is the place that the Queen and Meghan came to open a number of years ago. So we were in the foyer performing there. As far as I know, we haven't got any other events on over Christmas, although one of the men that used to come to choir worked at a nursing home, and he used to ask if we would go and perform as a choir because the elderly people in the nursing home loved it. So there might be more requests for us to go and perform. I don't know yet. So all I'm saying now tonight is, after the sad week that we've had, and we've got a more sombre time to come this week, I will appreciate the music and the choristers who are doing such a great performance when they're performing for their Queen, as we have a funeral for her. But I'm also saying how much singing has lifted my spirits. And I encourage anyone who needs their spirits lifting to just have a jolly good sing-song. I hope you enjoy your singing as much as I've enjoyed mine tonight. So from me tonight, time for my tea and time for something to drink. I'm going to say, this is Maggie. Bye for now. Come back and see me soon. Night-night.